Hey guys, so I feel like we really need to talk about this boss because it feels like every pug group that I get into handles this boss so poorly. And it comes down to two things. It comes down to positioning and timing. And if you really want to do this boss well, you're going to need to be able to track timers. Now, I know that some people are super resistant against like add-ons and being aware and having to track things that are not being shown in game, and I totally understand that, but that's a completely separate issue. But if you want to be doing this boss right, you need to be tracking timers because when the mechanics go out, they are already set in place and you can't move them once they've happened. So you need to know when they're going to happen before they happen so that you can put things where you want to go before they even come out. So this is something that I see in a lot of groups, and I just want to show like some things that you can do to make this better. All right, so we're going to start off with this poll right here. So first off, this is actually a good place to spawn the first ad. I should have been in here with them, but I normally see groups start in the middle, but this is actually a better place to start off because this first room right here is huge. You have plenty of space to move around, so you can make a lot of mistakes and you don't have to worry about positioning as much because of how much space there is here. So spawning the ad over here is actually a really good idea, and I just hadn't thought about it for this group, but right here is perfect so you can spend more time in this area. So that's all fine. Then you just want to be baiting away from where you eventually want to go, and where you want to go over here to the left or down that hallway there. So everything's fine here, and I position myself over here, so if I get a boulder on me, it'll be back where this other fire already is. So everything so far is really good, but one thing you'll notice is that he pulls the boss right to the edge of this fire, and that's going to become the issue later on. But for right now, this is totally fine while we have all this room to work with. You see how much space there is to move around, so all of that's totally fine. So we're all clumped in here, which is fine because we're going to be baiting the ad right on top of us, and it's right over there, so that's fine, and I'm still in a perfect position. We still have all this room back here. We have room over there and room over there to bait these boulders. Plenty of space. So when you're in this area, everything seems to go totally fine. It's only once we start going down this hallway that we start to run into issues. So after this burnout, this is where we start to see the first issue here. The tank's going to pull it right to the edge of this burnout and just completely stop. Why? You have all of this room that you can move so that we can have more space back here. But because he stops right here and the burnout just finished spawning, we now have 1.3 seconds to get into a good position where we will put the boulder in a place where it won't be an issue. So the only person, as of right now, I had a half second to move behind the boss. This is the only place. I'm the only person in a good position to put the boulder. The Demon Hunter might be in a good position, but it might clip some of the telemetry over here. Some of this stuff has like really weird hit collision, but that might be okay over here. And so is the Dracthyr. That might be okay over there. But the problem is that if the tank had just moved further ahead, then all of a sudden the lines would be a lot easier to make these avenues where the boulder can go a lot cleaner to make it go straight back. Remember, they couldn't have moved to where I was very quickly because this is where he stopped the boss before the burnout goes off. Let me just get a better view of that real quick. When this burnout goes off, he stops it so you can't even start to pre-position. There's nowhere where you can pre-position for this next boulder. So these guys were kind of forced to go off to the side. I just moved within that half second to be in good position. Now this is where it usually gets like iffy, is because if it does spawn off to the side right here, sometimes it'll clip weird telemetry and just instantly kill your group. Was that fair? No, that wasn't fair. It should have moved further back here, but there's no reason to stop the boss right at the edge of burnout like that. That just is going to be asking for trouble because it gives you less room to move. Now, I don't want to put this all on the tank. Like, the tank is going to be able to control where the boss is, as well as where the melee are going to go, because the melee are going to always be on top of the boss. But if you pull it forward more, then you'll be able to angle those boulders so much better. So if we skip ahead to the next time we do this, I'll show you some things that you can do and what everyone should be doing with these boulders, as well as baiting the ads. So again, same issue here. So this time we're not dead, so that's good. But with these boulders, where are we trying to aim it? Right here is like the only good position, or like over here are the only good real positions for these boulders, and that can cause some issues. Also with this overlap, if you have a burnout and a boulder overlap, you need to be able to pause and wait for the boulder to go out first before you start moving forward, and that can cause some issues too. Fortunately, someone did wait for a second so it would go backwards, so that boulder wasn't going to be an issue. But again, the tank stops the boss right here. right at the edge. So what you can do if you don't like that position is you can try to bait it forward here. So again, like I said, the tank will be controlling where the melee go because that's where the boss is going to be, but you as range 2 need to be moving forward. This would be a better position to bait the ad. Unfortunately, it spawns kind of like in between this, so it's still going to be kind of tight. So like right now, the only place for the range to have gone were over here and over here to be out of that ad spawning fire. So here now the only good place to be because of where the boss is like where the Drakthir is right here. Because if you're any closer, it might clip this tree. It does get baited back this way because that's where I was standing. So that's kind of okay. But at the same time, there's this just tiny little area where you need to be if you want to be baiting the boulder in a good direction. And that can be really difficult to get those kind of good overlaps. So like there's no reason to be only having this tiny bit of space. You can pull it further up, and I'll show you what that should look like if you can actually bait it correctly. So right here with this next ad spawn, I'm going to once again try to bait this ad further forward. And I want you to see this because if it spawns this much further forward, look at all this space we now have to bait boulders. Like again, everyone needed to do this. This isn't just a tank thing. Everyone would have needed to come forward with me to 100% guarantee that ad to spawn here. And a lot of times range will always be staying towards the back on this burnout. Don't do that either. Everyone should be forward. This is a group effort to spawn this thing reliably forward, because now with this ad coming out forward, the tank is going to be forced to pull the boss up to this ad, which means, like I was talking about before, this molten boulder, look how many clean lines we have. It doesn't have to go off to the side. It can go straight back where it won't be a problem because we're still back here as the molten boulder comes out. So as you can see, it's coming on me, and I just move off to the side and move up. And now look at all this space we have for future boulders if we get more boulders with this ad. It just gives it so much more of a cleaner space. And again, once you're doing this on Tyrannical, when these things are lasting even longer, that's going to matter so much more. You're going to be getting more boulders than you would on Fortified. Here, like again, this bait was just unfortunate, like an unfortunate bait here. I have to go out into the fire in order to dodge it and not get hit by that explosion. But I'm already thinking, where do I want that next ad if I had control over it? Why would you want to bait the ad right here? That's going to cause like this tiny little room where you can only like drop off the boulder. It's very small. But if I spawn the ad up here, you're going to have all this space to work. Now we can actually have, like, you can bait the boulders back that way, that way, that way, that way. You just have so much more space to work. And I feel like that's the biggest problem that I see with pug groups. And again, this isn't all on the tank. This is a group effort. Everyone has to move forward if you want to bait these ads forward. There's no reason to be baiting the ad spawns right against the burnout. You're conserving room that doesn't matter. All of these ads and stuff have already been cleared out because we had to do that trash beforehand. So all of that's already cleared out. You have so much extra room that you can use if you need it, where you can give your people more space. This is why it always becomes an issue, because when you're super tight, you sometimes bait them out to the side and then they blow up and then you might kill someone, because look how tight this space is in here. So you need to give yourself more room. Another way to explain it is with paint, because all of WoW content creators have to use paint in order to explain things. So for instance, if we have the boss right up on the last burninated area, and even if we're in like a kind of a tight stack here, it can be hard for people as those balls to run, as those boulders are coming out, to actually get good position. So even if it is going on to like this hunter where it is going straight back, if there's like a patch of fire here because of it, then the next one you can only bait them out to the sides, which is what causes those issues. However, if you are moving it forward, then you have much less severe lines, and these lines are much easier to go straight back and give yourself a lot more room. Pull the boss forward. It does not hurt you at all to pull that boss forward, and then for everyone, and again, that's the important thing, everyone has to move up to the boss, range included, so that you're baiting that ad forward. But again, that's where those timers come in. You can track when these things are going to happen. If we go back to here, like the reason why I start baiting that ad forward, a little bit further back here, I know that the next thing that's going to happen is the ad here. I know that's what's coming next. So I don't have to worry about baiting the boulder in the wrong direction because I know the next thing that's going to happen is that ad. These timers are extremely reliable. So I know that I can track it. I know when to bait which thing. If I want to move forward for the ad, if I want to move backwards for the boulder, I know when those things are going to happen. So really you have to pay attention to your tracking if you want to make sure that this is as clean as possible. All right, guys, so hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that you got something out of this. It's going to be hard to do this in a pug where you can't communicate all of this, but you can kind of control some of it to your own extent. Give yourself like a 40%, or not 40% chance, but a 1 of 4, 25% chance that you will bait the ad forward if you want to take matters into your own hands. And you can see it when you do it. It'll be so much easier if you do it that way and bait those ads forward and give yourself more room to bait the boulders back. So hopefully this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments if it was. If you try this out and it works, let me know. I seem to have a lot of success with it when I can actually get people to move forward. So hopefully you guys can take this information if it was interesting or new for you. Hopefully you can take this and make it a little bit easy in Ruby Life Pools. All right, guys. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.